There is never good enough.
It's not.
There's always something. How's it going, guys? Topic for today's video is binge eating and binge eating disorders, how to overcome them, and we're just going to talk about our experiences with our own kind of binge eating episodes in the past, and what we do differently now and how to kind of overcome it. So even if you're so typically what happens is people, they develop these kind of binge eating habits just over time. Maybe it's coming from calorie restriction or maybe for emotional reasons or something like that. But even if you're coming to a healthier lifestyle and eating a healthier diet, like those habits can follow you, and that can really dampen your results if you're looking for weight loss or if you're just looking for overall better vitality and energy as well. Because if you're binging out on food, like I just know from my own experience that I just feel like crap afterwards, even if it's healthy. No fat, no oil, just eating mountains of rice or mountains of potatoes, etc.
Because it's like you lose control and then you feel like crap because if you've ever binged in the past, it's never a good feeling. You always eat way more than you should. You never do it for a good reason. It's either, I know for me in my past, I would binge because I was restricting my calories and trying to diet and do all these low carb crazy diets, or even when I was high carb low fat and I was trying to eat absolutely no salt and no fats and just carbs, I would still feel like I was binging on food because there wasn't any real balance, and I couldn't really eat whatever I wanted to satisfy my body on a nutritional density level. So I would binge out on potatoes and rice. And I know a lot of girls contact me and they say that they're binging on stuff like that, and it is healthy food, and people will say well, it's not bad because it's healthy food, you're probably just under eating and that's why you're binging. But I think that it's more there's more emotional, psychological aspects to it, and it's kind of like a cycle that you can break out of and not have in your life forever, because it's very sabotaging.
Right. So for example, I'll just kind of quickly explain what I used to do when I was younger. Growing up, I was very kind of I've been introverted basically my whole life. And so I've always kind of felt lonely at times. And so whenever I'd feel lonely, say I was at home by myself or whatever, I would just try to numb those emotions just by eating crap loads of food. So just, typically my favorite meal was putting one of those frozen Delissio pizzas in the oven and just eating the entire thing. Now, I've kind of been lucky because I've been into fitness pretty well my entire life. I've had a very fast metabolism. And so even with a lot of these binging episodes, which, could be pizza, it could be fast food. Oh yeah, FYI, I worked at McDonald's from the age of 15 to 19, which is disgusting. But so, I ate so much junk food. And basically I should have probably been at least 250, 300 pounds. But luckily, that really didn't happen to me. Anyway, so I'd do my best to numb my emotions with all the food that I was eating. And it does work, but what I kind of found what happened is even when I transitioned to eating a much healthier diet, is that I was still doing it. And right kind of from the get-go when I first started eating healthy, I was under the idea that it's I gotta eat more. I gotta eat more and more and more and more. And so it was kind of nice because I could just eat so much food, and afterwards I would typically feel very lethargic, just very tired in general, very bloated, having this big huge food baby. And I thought that this was good, this is good, even though I wasn't listening to my body at all. I thought this was good because I was told that this is what I want to do in order to succeed on a plant-based lifestyle. Yeah. And yeah,
I think there's two ways to overcome it, because there's probably a multitude of different avenues that people come from and reasons that they binge and stuff, but it's either emotionally, psychologically, happening because you are restricting your calories. You're trying to fit yourself into like this mold of a diet. You feel like you're on a diet, like that you're restricting your food in some way, either the amount or like what you can eat or, you know, things like that. So it's trying to fit into the mold of a diet and not having like that freedom. So then you would binge, or you are doing it because emotionally you're not being present and you are like thinking about something that happened to you in your past, or like terrible things that you went through, or maybe you just had a really bad day. And I know for me, like when I quit drinking and quit smoking, I would binge all the time on food, because normally, like, I would just, if I was pissed off or something, I would have cigarettes, I would have alcohol. Like, in my past, I always binged on alcohol, and I was, like, always, you know, thinner than I was when I started, you know, eating healthier and quitting drinking and all that stuff, because I would just get drunk and, like, pass out and forget about stuff. But, like, once I quit drinking and smoking, like, I had to face my problems, you know? So for me, like, I would turn to food if I had a bad day, or, you know, if, like, some guy didn't like me or whatever it was. And it just, it's the same as drugs, because it's like you're emotionally
sedating yourself.
Yeah. And it's just ruining your life, even if it is healthy foods, because it's coming from a place that's not healthy.
Yeah.
So, like, I know for me, I haven't binged in, like, probably 6 or 7 months. And the way that I overcame it was because, like, I just started eating a whole foods plant-based diet. Instead of, you know, restricting, like, my fats to a certain ratio and plugging everything into Chronometer and no salt and just eating really unsatisfying food to me and things that I didn't really want because it was considered healthy. I was like, I can eat whatever I want as long as it's whole foods. And I even still let myself, like, eat processed foods if I want. But if you give yourself that freedom to eat, you know, any food group, vegan, of course, but, like, whole foods, like fats, grains, not freaking out about, like, gluten and, like, avocados or something like that.
Or having, like, diet cheese, like, once every 2 months or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
and just
stuff
thinking
like that.
you're a failure because you're not perfect. Like, just giving yourself that freedom and just saying, like, today I might eat a little bit more fat, or today I might have some pasta that has gluten in it. Like, it's not a big deal, and it all balances out. So when you just give yourself that freedom, you can overcome, you know, the nutritional dieting aspect of binging, I think, pretty easily.
Yeah.
Like, the emotional one is a little bit harder, but there.
That's going to be something, especially, so something that I would recommend practicing is, like, meditation, because that really kind of, like, brings you to the present moment. So if you're going through an episode where it's like you're feeling a certain type of emotion, there's many different ways of changing that emotion. You could focus on affirmations. You can just focus on being aware of the emotion, which you can practice through meditation, or just focusing on getting your thoughts off of the negative thoughts or negative feelings that you're experiencing right now. Not necessarily trying to, like, push them away, but just directing your attention. That's like a whole other topic in and of itself. It's not super simple to really talk about, because some people will say, well, you don't want to push them away, or you want to deal with them, you want to face them. Other people will just be like, just focus on something else. Something else that I just wanted to mention is when I first started eating, like, high carb, low fats. So this is, like, going back like 4 years ago. This is back in the day when everybody was like, raw is law, right? Like, everyone's like, yeah, I ate, like, you know, all these bananas and dates and all this fruit. Like,
that was only, like, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, but people were like, if you ate cooked food was going to make you fat. Having sodium was going to make you fat. So basically what ended up happening for me is I would try to eat as much fruit as possible throughout the day, like just huge smoothies, all this, like, stuff, and sugar. Just, well, I didn't add sugar until later on. I just remember it was when I was living on Vancouver Island, and so I was eating all this fruit. I wasn't really feeling satisfied with it, right? And I saw other people succeeding, and I'm like, what's going on? And so what would end up happening was I would go and binge on plain white rice with I would put like salt and steak spice on top of it. And I felt terrible. I felt embarrassed that I was actually eating cooked food. Like totally embarrassed. And because I wasn't like now
to like buy rice, like someone was
I was embarrassed to buy rice because I was going in the store. Like this is how deep this shit goes when you're convinced that you have to follow a certain nutritional paradigm, that you have to you can't eat this food, you can't eat that food. It leads you to, like, if you do feel unsatisfied, then it leads you to binging. Like you just go out and binge on these foods and you're just like, and then you sedate yourself with it. Rather than just allowing yourself the freedom to actually just eat it as you please, we just find that, I'm feeling emotionally unstable with like the diet that I'm eating right now. It's all raw. I'm just not feeling content with what I'm eating. Oh crap, I just ate an entire huge bowl of rice and now I feel even worse because I binged on the rice, even though you could have just allowed yourself to eat it in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's one reason why, like, we say, like, raw till whenever you want, right? So you can eat, there's no, like, specific nutritional kind of, like, rules, right?
Calories or macros or anything. And, like, people always ask about calories. It's like, we'll never tell people how many calories to eat because everyone's just so different. And, like, once you start doing that, then people start feeling like they're failures because they're eating too much or they're eating too little. And everyone who's successful on a plant-based diet, everyone, whether they're raw or they're fully, cooked or they're whatever, they eat as much as they want and they're satisfied at every meal and they're not, smashing it in, like having pregnant bellies all the time and just eating way beyond the amount that they should. Like, so many girls have come out with videos recently saying, like, well, the reason I was successful was because, I was just eating as much as I wanted. It's like, well, you weren't eating 2,500 calories a day, so it's really not the program. So, like, the people that are successful are doing what feels right. So just do what feels right. Eat as much as you want. Yeah. Don't restrict yourself in any specific way on a vegan diet. Like, my only real rule is as long as it's vegan, I'll eat it. Like, I don't really care. Yeah. But I know how diet cheese and, vegan junk food makes me feel, so we just don't eat it very much. But it's a totally different shift when you come from I can't eat it to I know how it makes me feel when I eat it. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to eat it. I'd rather eat, like, an avocado or some healthy fat than having, like, a diet cheese pizza. Yeah. But it's nice to have the option, to, like, eat a cheese pizza, like a vegan cheese pizza or something like that when you want.
Yeah, and just not being like, well, I'm not allowed to eat that. And it's like,
give yourself the option.
Yeah, it's
and
like
you won't choose it. Like, you won't binge on it. You won't even want it because it's like some like supermodel or somebody that you really think is like beautiful. You can't ever have them, and like you want them really badly, or somebody like in your life, like a person. It's the same way. Like the second that you can have it, you're like, I don't really want it.
Yeah. It's definitely when you leave yourself open to the idea of you're allowed to have it, you're much less likely to want to go and eat it all the time because maybe when you do eat it, you realize, oh, like this doesn't make me feel very good. Like I can sit down and still eat like big pizzas to myself, and it's like afterwards, like I'm not feeling on top of the world. So it's like I've got to, like, I still kind of like, I'm not going to say like it's not like a daily struggle or anything like that, but it's like I still eat past the point of satiation a lot. And that's just kind of like how I've grown up and how I've kind of trained myself to eat. So,
but he knows that he feels better when he just eats until he's eaten enough. Like everybody eats past the point of satiation, like at times. I'm not perfect. Derek's not perfect. No one's perfect. Everybody's going to like eat till they're stuffed sometimes because maybe you just went on like a 50K bike ride and you were really hungry, or, it's just some really good food, or it's like Christmas or whatever. And you're just eating for whatever reason, but don't beat yourself up for it. Just let it go. Be like, whatever. It was great. I feel like crap, and realize how you feel. And then just move on and learn from it. You're not going to be perfect all the time. Like, you're never going to be perfect. And trying to be perfect and trying to fit into some little mold and eat the perfect way and the perfect amount and, like, the perfect amount of salt and the perfect all this crap, like, it's never going to happen. It's just going to, like, ruin what you're trying to do. So just focus on, like, being as healthy as you can. Say, I'm going to treat my body the best way that I can. I'm going to eat the healthiest foods I can in their whole forms, like, and just do that, and
Yeah.
you'll be so much more successful than trying to be on a diet or calorie restrict or do whatever. So just do what feels good, and you'll succeed 100%.
Just be easier on yourself. Be
Yeah.
easy. I read some of the emails that some of the girls send to us, and like, you got to release the idea of being so focused on food all the time, just so focused, and just being like it's consuming your life. It's like,
can I eat gluten and oats and da-da-da and like all this stuff?
like, can I eat this at this time, or should I not eat this at this time? And like, what's it? Like, what about this? What about that? And it's just like,
Whatever.
just
do
relax.
What feels good.
Chill.
Like if you like to eat oats at midnight, then do it.
Eat oats
like,
at midnight. Like,
see how it makes you feel. If it makes you feel good, then do it. Like,
if you enjoy it, then
don't worry
do it.
about what we do, because people will be like, well, what time do you stop eating? Like, what time do you start eating? How many calories do you eat? How much salt do you eat? Like, every little thing, and it's just like, it doesn't matter. It's so different day to day. Like, every single day is so completely different than the day before.
And see, like, I understand, because people want to know how to get results, and it's like, we can't tell you specifically how to get results. It's like, you gotta like,
you'll get results by feeling good and doing what makes you feel good and eating what makes you feel good and just being good to yourself. That's how you're gonna get results. And like, you're gonna go out and exercise because you feel good and you want to feel better, and like, you love cycling or you love walking and running or whatever. You're gonna do it because you feel good. You're gonna eat what makes you feel good, and that is the bottom line. That's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Feeling good right now.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right. Good video.
Long video. Sorry.
Yeah, 17 minutes. Oh, good. I mean, good. Nobody's going to click on it. It's too long. Anyways.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.